Almost 20 years ago, Carol Verbecki was hired at Turning Point. She had a dream to provide childcare to single parents who needed to go back to school in order to support their families. When UVU purchased a family home, President Carrie Romsberg dedicated it as a child care center. Carol Verbecki, with help from Curtis Pendleton, wrote the first campus child care grant. In 2001, We Care opened with 50 children. Without the dream of Carol Verbecki and the constant support and hard work of Dixie Sevenson, we wouldn't be standing here today 12 years later. Thank you, Dixie and Carol. I know you're out there somewhere. It has been inspiring to see the level of support that came through for this project to make it UVU's first ever privately funded building. This building will make a huge difference, not only in the lives of many UVU students, but also in the lives of their children who walk through these doors and play in these classrooms. I want to introduce some of those children to sing a song to us and express their gratitude.
Oh, we thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, we thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, we thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
We would like to thank one of the key supporters of this initiative, the Utah Valley University Foundation. To support the university's mission to educate more women and to make it possible for young parents to complete their degrees, the UVU Foundation contributed more than $500,000 towards this facility. I would like to introduce Debbie Bingham, chair of the UVU Foundation Board, to say a few words on behalf of the foundation.
The Utah Valley Foundation works in support of the university's mission and its priorities. We help to provide resources that make it possible for the university to better serve the community. This wonderful new We Care Center that accommodates so many more children than before has been a top priority for President Holland, and the foundation wanted to give our full support. We voted to put discretionary funds towards this important project because it makes it possible for so many more students to pursue degrees to reach a place in their lives where they can better support their families. So thank you.
I would now like to recognize a very special member of the UVU family who has been an avid supporter of the We Care Center from the very beginning. We love and adore this woman, UVU's First Lady, Paige Holland. About a year and a half ago, Paige convened a leadership luncheon for women in the Valley to discuss the topic of women and education. This luncheon resulted in an overwhelming outpour of support and excitement for this project. Many of these women are actively engaged with this project and other important UVU initiatives. I know this project would not have picked up the speed that it did without the enormous effort that she put into it. I would like to invite the First Lady, or as we call her, our national treasure, to say a few words about the many people who made this day possible.
This moment is truly like a dream come true for me. When Matt and I first came to the university, we were both very concerned about the low rate of women completing degrees here at UVU. I know what a difference having a college degree can make in someone's life. I could cite for you lots and lots of research about what a degree can do to help strengthen parenting skills, to help strengthen personal health and financial independence, and many other things. But maybe, more importantly, I can just say what a difference having a degree has made for me personally. It was not long after we came to UVU and were thinking about these things that UVU's own Dr. Susan Madsen started to release her prominent research on this very issue. we saw that one of the greatest stumbling blocks for women in completing degrees is access to safe and affordable and flexible daycare. When Matt said that he wanted to do something about this, I instantly said, "You should, and I want to help you." And so together we went to work. And as we stand here now in the shadow of this large and beautiful new daycare facility that will bless the lives of so many students and so many children for many, many years, I could not be more grateful and more moved. At this time, I'd like to ask Matt to come and join me in recognizing some of the key people who made this moment possible.
Thank you, Paige. So far, Paige has been introduced this morning here and elsewhere as the national treasure and the Kate Middleton of Utah County. So I think that makes me like the wealthiest guy in the country and a British prince. I'm just saying. So, yeah, you can applaud that if you want. Actually, before we thank some of our key donors, and we unfortunately, I wish we could thank all of them because this really was a large community project. But I do want to extend a special welcome that we have today. First of all, to our great UVU community. As I look out and I see students, I see faculty members, I see folks who've been committed to this operation and We Care and its attendant programs that are here. I know this is a great day of victory and here really because of your efforts. I'd like to thank our Jim Michaelis and Stacy Ham from UVU Facilities who worked carefully with the construction company and the architects. We had a wonderful relationship with Zwick Construction, and I think Eric Calder and Jordan Hill, are they here? If they could wave. Yes, want to thank you. Zwick did an outstanding job, including round-the-clock efforts to make sure that we hit our deadline today. We're thankful for that. A number of colleagues at Method Studios who we've worked with on a number of projects, but I could tell that this one in particular was a labor of love. So to Joe Smith and others on his team, we want to thank them for their contribution. Joe, is Method? Are they here somewhere? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And Sarah Bishop, I know Sarah's here somewhere. Sarah, right here, designer extraordinaire, good friend of one of our lead donors. A hearty round of applause to our colleagues who helped make this project happen. With that, we would like to make a brief presentation here to our lead donors. We're going to start with a man who started it all, and we want to present a Hello Willie book signed by the children and a bouquet of flowers. And we'll start with Mr. Jackson Howard, who is here. The story starts with Jackson because Jackson is the man who, as was alluded to earlier, with Carrie Romsberg, had the vision that we needed to do something in the first place and made possible the funding for the house that sits just behind us on 4th West. It was terrific for its time. It was a lifesaver for its time, but had reached the limits of its ability to take care of the needs of this institution. So he started that process for us by getting that original We Care Center built. And in the 11th hour and 59th minute, he wrote the final check that put us over the top so that we could say, as it has been said already, that this is UVU's first building entirely built for and funded by private funds. So in honor of that, Jackson, thank you very, very much. We'd now like to, we've already heard from Debbie Bingham. But again, the story here is the foundation is designed to help support the university, and typically this is done by receiving donations and either directing them to intended gifts or keeping them to accumulate to use the interest from to support the university more generally. But the foundation stepped forward and said, this is such a key project, we want to support it with a sizable donation. Debbie led the charge on that with the board, and it was due to her leadership that we had a unanimous vote in the foundation to support this project to the tune of almost $500,000. And so, on behalf of the university, Debbie, thank you very much for your leadership there. Unfortunately, Kim Brown could not be with us today. Kim was an early adopter of this project. She was also at the luncheon that Paige held and came up almost in the same breath that our donor yet to be named did, that we'll talk about in just a minute. We thank her for her service. With that, we want to acknowledge Rob Bruff, who's representing Zions Bank, who gave a very sizable donation. Again, this was, if Jackson was 11th hour and 59 minutes, they were the 11th hour gift that really got us within striking distance to close the gap. And so we present our tribute to Rob Bruff and thank Zions Bank. We have one more donor that we have to thank, but before I say that again, this is not everybody. There were lots of people who donated, and we wish we had time to pay tribute, but to everybody who made a contribution of any degree of time or treasure, whether it was $10 or $100, please, a round of applause and a note of gratitude of thanks for us for your contribution.
Thank you so much. And before Matt introduces our final donor, I'd like to say just a few words about her. Barbara Barrington Jones is an incredible woman who I have loved and admired since I was 18 years old and I heard her give a speech, and it touched my heart and inspired me so much I never forgot her. She's a world-renowned author and a motivational speaker who has literally devoted her entire life to improving the lives of other women. I have to say that I believe it was fate that Barbara attended the luncheon in the spring of 2012, where we announced our plans to expand the We Care Center. I'd like to turn the time over to Matt again to tell the story of what happened at that luncheon.
Well, the story of the luncheon really begins with this wonderful woman right here, and she said she wanted to help on this project, and as we talked about that, and really this project is part of a larger project. Paige and I are very concerned, have been very concerned about the completion rates of young women in this valley and at this institution. And so we went to work, and as Paige said, we're grateful for Dr. Madsen and her research and other things that came forward to help us see that one of the big stumbling blocks was affordable, accessible daycare facilities. The facility that we had is for underserved populations. They don't have the money to participate in regular market daycare services, and there just isn't that much of that around. And so we knew that in the process of dealing with this larger issue of female completion rates, this was a project that needed to be happened. And so at this luncheon, which was mostly dedicated to gathering women from around the county to talk about what are the things that we can do to help young women, how do we set the right role models, and how do we send the right messages. I was graciously invited, the only man at the party, I have to say. It was quite an event for me personally. And had a minute just at the end to thank Paige and these women for all their great leadership, and then said at the end that we do have this project that we think would be one practical way that we could address this program. That's about all I said, was to say that we wanted to do it. We had a vision for what it might look like, and we had a sense for the kind of impact it would make, and that was it. And we were finished. And then after the luncheon, as I was on my way out the door, I feel this tap on my shoulder. And I turn around, and this most elegant-looking woman is staring me in the eyes, and she's already got the teardrops running down her cheek, and she says, "I want to help you build that We Care Center. I have a house in California. I'm going to sell that house, and I'm going to give it to you so that you can build this We Care Center." And with that, it was just a spirit-to-spirit communication, and we engulfed each other, and that was just 18 months ago. And in 18 months, we went from an idea and a donation to a building. And so with that, I'm proud to introduce to you the namesake of this building and this great project, Barbara Barrington Jones. Barbara, would you please join us? We'll and ask Barbara if she'll say just a few words or her feelings about this project and what it means to her.
You notice he just said just a few.
You can have more than a few.
Okay. This is a great day for me and for my family to be here. And the background of that is living through 12 years of an abusive marriage. I have been where these ladies that will bring their children here, I have been there. And I understand the fear that comes of not knowing how you're going to be able to provide for a family. And my husband killed himself and left me with 2 little children. So this is really a dream come true. But I met my wonderful, wonderful husband, and we built a home. And it was a nightmare at the first because everything happened. It was on a steep hill in San Francisco, and it got all washed out, and it was just a nightmare. So we decided at that point we would dedicate this house to our Father in heaven. And so we had a plaque on the door that said that we dedicate this home to our Father in heaven, and we ask all those who enter it to please pray that he will use it for his benefit. Well, the years have gone on, the 27 years we lived there. A few other nightmares happened that we had 2 extra rooms that we had to build. The house ended up being 7,500 square feet. And one of those rooms turned into our foundation office, and the other room turned into an apartment for couples missionaries. So when this opportunity came along for me to give that home away, it was just like an answer from above. I'm so grateful. And my ending statement is, how great thou art. I'm so happy, and thank you for being here to see this wonderful building that my beautiful decorator, Sarah Idett, has completed with my funds. But that's the brass tacks.
Well, thank you, Barbara, for your gift, and to all others who are joining us here in this true partnership, community partnership, to make a tremendous difference. You all know, you've certainly heard me say before, you've heard Paige said before, and others of you know it at least as well as we do or better. Higher education can make all the difference in the lives of an individual. Everything that we know, from extensive research and study and decades of reflection, show that access to and completion of higher education can improve your health, improves your earning power, improves your personal relationships, improves your sense of civic participation. Almost every area of life that matters goes better if you can have access to and complete a degree in higher education. And what's the significance of this building is that this is a make it or break it kind of arrangement for students who otherwise just would not make it. It will cater to those students who, if left to their own resources and left to the regular market operation, simply would not be able to attend higher education and complete degrees. And what we know about that for mothers in particular, and this is a center that's open to all students, but we know that it will serve in a disproportionate way women taking care of their children, that it not only frees this student up to pursue a degree for their life, but the rates of higher education completion skyrocket when your mother has a degree. And so when you think about the true legacy benefit of what this building will mean, when it significantly enhances our ability to accommodate the numbers of students it will than we had before. We did a little bit of sort of back of the envelope calculation. You know, it's a wonderful thing to do scholarships, and we are always in the market to produce scholarships. But what this building is a living scholarship now in perpetuity. On average, for a student to come in with a child and go through the traditional path towards graduation, this would effectively be somewhere between an $18,000 and $20,000 scholarship per student that isn't going to run out once the money's gone. It will keep giving and giving and giving. That's the power of this project. It's the power of what Barbara has done with her gift, power of other gifts that have been given to us to make this moment possible. I could not be more personally and institutionally proud and grateful for the way the community has rallied, for my dear wife, for her contribution, and especially for you great students who are here. We love you. This is for you. You're such good singers. It's just amazing. We pay tribute to you. You're probably not understanding a word I'm saying, but the future rests on you little people. And thank you to you adults who had the means and the power and the goodness of a heart to join with us and make this possible. We pay our most heartfelt tribute to you on this very special and historic day for Utah Valley University. Thank you very much.